Hello everyone. In this lesson, we're going to be creating our first interactive dashboard in Excel using the knowledge of what we learned in previous lessons on pivot table and pivot charts. So let's get started. Here I have my data, which is just a modification on the data we have been using: date, age, product type, product category, unit price, quantity, and revenue. So we're going to be creating an interactive dashboard that will help us to view our data with the information we have easily. So to do that, the first thing I will do is I will first of all create a pivot table in another worksheet, and then I will open a new worksheet and name it dashboard. Let me first of all open a new worksheet, and then let's rename it. Right click and then rename. Let's call it dashboard. Okay, and then let's go back. The first thing I want to do is I want to create a pivot table. So I'll go to insert pivot table, and then my pivot table has been selected. New worksheet, click OK. So here I can now start creating my pivot table. To do that, let me first of all view the sum of revenue that we have, then quantity, sum of quantity, and then unit price. Okay, format this as dollar, then these two as dollar, as currency rather. Okay, since I have this, then the first thing I want to do is let me come to my dashboard here now. Come to dashboard. Let me create what I call total revenue here. Okay, I can double click on this to expand. Then quantity sold, and then unit price. Okay, I can give this a color. Let me increase the font size here. Let's say something like 20 is okay. Expand it here. So let me give it a color. Okay, I think this color is fine here. And then quantity sold to, change it to like 20. Unit price, change it to also 20. Okay, let me format this, give it a nice color. This time around I would like to go with orange, and this also give it a nice color. Let's say it's light blue. Okay, so here I want my total revenue to be at cell C1. So I already have it created in my dashboard, in my pivot table here. So all I will just do is to bring it to the dashboard. I'll come to dashboard. Here I will type equal to. Okay, once I type equal to, telling Excel I want to write a formula. So once I type equal to, then I will now go to the sheet where I have my pivot table, which is sheet 5. Then click on the sum of revenue that we have here, and then press enter. So you notice that on our dashboard we now have the sum of revenue. I can just format it and to make it dollar. Let me expand this now. So I have it here. So I would like to change the style. I'll come here to styles, then click on headings, heading 1, expand it here too. Okay, so I have my total revenue here. I also do the same thing for quantity sold. Let me expand this. So do the same thing for quantity sold. So I'll press equal to, go to where I have my pivot table, and then click on sum of quantity, press enter. Okay, I can also change the style. I will prefer to go with explanatory, increase the font to like 16 or 18. Okay, also do the same thing for unit price here. Equals to, go to my pivot table, click here where I have the sum of unit price, press enter, and then I can also change the style here and then format it to be a currency. So now I have this and I'm getting my dashboard set. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I don't want to see these grid lines here, so I'll come to view and then uncheck this button beside grid lines. So okay, I have a plain sheet now. So the next thing to do is to create more pivot table and more pivot charts. So let me come back to my data here at sheet 1. Let me create another pivot table. Come to insert pivot table. Now this time around my table 1, then I have existing worksheet. I'll click on existing worksheet here, go to where I have the former pivot table displayed, and then just select a cell, display the pivot table there, and then click OK. Okay, so I have my pivot table now. Now this time around I want to look at product category and revenue. So I move revenue here to this value feed, and then move product category to rows. Okay, so I have product category and revenue. Expand this. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to create a chart for this. So let me create a pivot chart for this. So I'll go to where I have tools here, click on pivot chart. I would like to go with the pie chart, click on pie chart, and then OK. So I have my pivot chart now. Okay, I would like to change this to total revenue by category, by product category. Okay, so I'll remove this, right click on it, and then add all feed buttons on chart. Okay, so I have my first pivot chart now. Let me copy this to my dashboard. Click on copy. I can even cut it and take it to my dashboard here. Okay, so I have the product category here. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to add a slicer to this chart. So here at the pivot chart tool, I click on analyze and then insert slicer. So once I insert slicer, I want to insert slicer and then view it by product category. So click on product category and then click OK. Then I have the slicer here. So I want the slicer to be here, and I want it to be in horizontal. So let me change the column to 4 here under slicer to change it to 4 columns, and then adjust this a little bit, and also this. And I can now move my slicer here. Let me adjust this, bring it back, bring it downward, and then I have this adjusted to. Okay, so the next thing let me connect this slicer with these two pivot tables that we have. So now I have my slicer to click on options, then you see report connections. So click on report connections. You have your pivot tables, the two pivot tables you have created. So this is not connected, so you connect this and then you click OK. So you notice that our slicer is ready. If I want to view information for accessories alone, I just click on accessories. You see the chart for accessory, then the total revenue for accessories and then the unit price for accessories. If it's for clothing alone, you have it also. If it's for glass alone, for shoe, and if you want to view for two, for or more than one, just click on this and then select the ones you want to see. Okay, so my dashboard is getting set. Let me also add more pivot tables and more pivot charts to my dashboard. So let me go to my data, create another pivot table, insert pivot table, new existing worksheet, then go to where I have my previous pivot tables, select a cell there, click OK. So this time around, let me go with revenue and then dates. Okay, so I have it here, pivot table, and then I will add a chart. Because we are working with dates, let me add a line chart and then click OK. So I have my charts here now, my pivot chart. Okay, let me I want to expand this chart to view all the dates. Okay, so I can now copy this. So I can now copy this or cut this chart, take it to my dashboard. So let me bring it here. Okay, adjust it a little bit. So I would like to remove all these feeds. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to hide a timer. Let me remove this too, delete it, change it to total revenue by total revenue by dates. So I will add a timer now. Come to pivot chart tools, analyze, and then this time around I'm inserting timeline. Then dates is the timeline. Click OK. So here's my timeline. Let me bring it here. Adjust this a little bit, and then adjust the timeline to a bit. Expand this. Okay, so once this is done, let me connect my timeline just the way I did for the slicer here. So click option, report connection. I also like to connect it to all the pivot table that I have. So click OK. So for this timer now, if I want to view information for January alone, I'll just click on this to give me that of January alone. If I want to view information for February alone, for March alone, for April, so you have the informations, and then for your product category, for the unit price, for the quantity sold, for each of those months, everything is connected. If I want to see for May, since we don't have data information for May, our data stops at I think April. So it's April 22, April 11. So we don't have information for May, for June. So we stop at April. So this is what we have for April, for March, for February, for January. So our dashboard is getting set. I also want to view by product type. So let me create another pivot table for that. Let me bring this, adjust this a little bit. Okay, so go to sheet 1, create another pivot table, insert pivot table, existing worksheets, go to where I have my pivot table feeds initially, select any of the cell, click OK. So for this time around, let me bring my revenue here, and then also product type. Okay, so I have, so here let me add a pivot chart. I prefer to go with column and click OK. So I have my chart here. Remove this, delete, then add feed buttons. Let me cut this and move it to my dashboard. This time around, let me place it here. Okay, adjust it a bit. Then I will let me change this to total revenue by product type. Okay, so let me add the slicer. Click on this, analyze, insert slicer, product type, click OK. So I have my slicer. Let me change the column to like 3 so I can easily view what is there. Expand it a bit, and then let me move it up here. Let this come down a bit. Let me adjust this chart a bit. Then the slicer come here. Okay, let me adjust everything, just move everything downward a bit so that we can easily view what we have. Okay, so trying to adjust the charts. Okay, so next thing is I'll connect my new slicer. So the next thing now is to connect this slicer to other pivot tables that we have created. So once we click on slicer option, then report connection, then connect to other pivot tables and click OK. So all the slicers are connected together, so you can slice by any of them. So this is how to create an interactive dashboard in Excel, a simple interactive dashboard in Excel. So thank you for watching this video.